what's her name? Santana Garrett, and people love her. She may be one of the best indie female wrestlers out there today, and she's not technically signed at all, but she's always on NXT TV.
Right, or Gargano.
Well, Gargano's and Tommaso Ciampa is a little bit of a different deal because, and we actually talked about that on our show. We realized that the what's going on right now is they're doing the AA, AAA, major league thing for WWE, and we come to realize that Evolve is the AA league. So while Tommaso Ciampa and Gargano don't technically have contracts right now, they're in the AA system. So they'll sign their contract when they actually are ready to bring them on. So I think that's what they're doing with this what's it called in the summertime, this tournament for the cruiserweights. They're doing a lot of those matches in Evolve. That's all AA now. Like, I really think that's how they kind of look at Evolve.
Now, what's interesting, like with you saying that, is Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa.
Tommaso Ciampa, yes.
Yeah, they were both in NXT Cleveland.
Right, because they're still,
so they're going out on the NXT tours.
Right, they're still traveling with NXT, but they're not officially under contract because they still technically got them in this AA system. But yes, for all intents and purposes, they are in NXT. They don't have that contract yet. For whatever reason, that's just how it's working out with them guys. Eventually, they will be given contracts, and because Gargano's already over. Like, he's over. I mean, they're calling him Mr. Like, they're giving him a gimmick, So it's only a matter of time before he signs a contract. But there's another guy that they got in the AA in Evolve right now, where they did a deal. I forget his name, but they did a deal with Evolve. They're like, look, we want to sign this guy. He's got the look, blah, 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 but he knows nothing. We need you guys to, they're basically treating it kind of like how they did OVW and FCW, like back in the day, where it's like, go with these guys for now. And then they're going to develop you, and then when we're ready to call you in the NXT, we'll call you in the NXT.
Which is funny because that's what NXT was supposed to be.
Right, and now they're making it like the AA, AAA Farm League thing. I'm telling you. And I remember Triple H doing an interview in like 2014 that said he wanted it to be kind of like that. So this is the result. This is what we're saying. And then your NXT house shows, they're kind of like on par with the AA as well. Because you got a whole roster of people on the NXT house shows that you've never even heard. Maybe you have, but the average person's never heard,
Right.
Unless they go on the only reason why I know who most of them are is because I went on. We had a bit on our show where we said, we took a guess on who we thought would be fired in 2016 and who would get called up to the main roster for NXT. So we looked it up on Wikipedia and we saw the NXT house roster. And I'm going through all these names and Tim's like, well, I don't know who that is, so I can't really say. And I don't know who this is. And I don't know who this is. That's actually where Braun Strowman came from, because he was on the house roster, but he jumped and never ended up on NXT TV. He just ended up right on the main roster, which you can see became a problem. But that's kind of why no one had heard of Braun Strowman. But he had been with the company for 6 months. He was just on the house show roster. So they got like 50 people on that roster.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. And you got your Evolve on top of that. And you got this tournament coming up in the summertime where they're bringing people in that aren't even contracted. They got their farm system.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. Back to the match.
Yes, back to the match.